Greetings, my name is BlazeLeeDragon, and today I'm going to be talking about magic. What it is, its origin, why it's spelled different ways. To start with, I'm going to start with the spelling. Usually when you spell magic, M-A-G-I-C. However, there's a couple individuals that will actually spell it M-A-G-I-C-K. So why the K? Well, Aleister Crowley wanted to make a distinction between stage magic and actual magic. So he added the K on the end. The K also coincides with an Egyptian word for power or energy. It's K-H-U. So he also had the K for that purpose as well. It also makes it like geometrically sound, having 3 and 3, M-A-G, and then I-C-K. So you have 6. 3 is a very powerful number in mysticism. Well, magic itself, one of the best definitions I personally like to use is consciously creating change through energy through the use of will. So basically, willing energy to do something. Magic can be as simple as affirmations, where you constantly repeat something positive to yourself. It can be a little more complex as rituals or spellcraft, herbalism. Everything in daily life can be magic and should be for those that practice. Now, another thing that I've heard, which is really neat, is yesterday's magic is today's science, which is true. A lot of the stuff in the olden days that was considered magic is what we use for science today. Magical practitioners, whether they be druid, shaman, or priest of any form, they would use different alchemical combinations, which is used in modern chemistry. They would use different types of herbs, which is used in a lot of modern drugs. The magic itself is usually the art or practice of creating that change. Chanting has been used by monks and priests, or any magical practitioner that wishes to use it, speaking their words in rhyme. Words have a very powerful vibration. The way that magic works is basically, if you think of it from a scientific viewpoint for those that are a little more on the narrow-minded side, energy is not created or destroyed. It has to go somewhere. Probably the number one lesson I will teach anyone who wants to become a student or wants to learn or practice magic, the number one rule to accomplish anything by magical means is all energy follows thought. If you put your mind there, energy will follow it, period. That is the basis for all forms of magic, whether it be basic affirmation, prayer, spell casting, whatever the case may be. Focus on it and it will happen. Now, of course, there's ways to enhance it or make that energy resonate more, which is the next point I'm getting into. Everything vibrates. Cells, molecules, atoms, they're all moving constantly. What happens is everything is going to interact with each other, the whole equal but opposite reaction. So when you put forth a thought, it is not only going to release a vibration or wave, but it's also going to release certain chemicals in your body. Whenever you think or breathe, it's going to alter the vibrations of the body, the amount of heat that you let off. As an example, if you hyperventilate just by using your breathing, not necessarily mental focus, but breathing, and you hyperventilate, you can, get really worked up and increase your heart rate. If you breathe nice, slow, and calm, you'll calm down and relax. You can control your energy and your vibrations and your mood by breath control alone. Breath control is also used with focus on different types of spellcraft. Now, if you think of a tuning fork, if you strike a tuning fork on the other side of the room will actually vibrate as well. If you consider listening to music, different music gets you in different feel. There's a different type of atmosphere when there's music involved. That's because the world is constantly vibrating. As I was mentioning, inanimate objects like tables and stones and rocks all vibrate. Everything vibrates at a different intensity based upon the chemicals and the atoms that it's made up of. When you use magic, you are causing subtle influences to the subtle energies that surround these. Basically, the subatomic particles, the neutrons, protons, things like that. The electrons, you are causing subtle changes and shifts which are bringing forth change. It's kind of like the whole concept of the butterfly effect, where if a butterfly will beat its wings, it can cause hurricanes and tornadoes thousands of miles away. Or if you drop a stone inside of a pond, it will ripple out. These domino-like effects is how magic works. It's very subtle shifts of changes that are brought about by your conscious mental focus that'll bring forth these changes. Everything's vibrating, so you are going against the flow of vibration when you're trying to create change, so you're going to have resistance. So that's why a lot of spells will have extra stuff to enhance whatever that spell is for, because the more you have, the more momentum you build up, the more energy that can go towards the focus that you have. Now, energy itself, like I said, all energy will follow thought, so the basics is to think on it and to focus your energy on it. But the other thing to consider is everybody has thoughts, so there's going to be conflict, which is why it's not only considered negative and immoral to try to do something on or against someone else, but it usually doesn't always work because you are fighting against their own will to be themselves. Any form of mind control, whether it be a love spell or whatever the case may be, it's not always going to necessarily work because you're fighting against that person's free will. It's not always going to be that effective. Most traditional love spells that are best done are done to self. Basically, in a way, it's confidence builders. You focus on, being attractive. You start sending out that vibe, and people will tell you too when, you're looking for a potential mate. People are drawn to people that are confident and outgoing. These vibrations and energies are a form of magic. That's what magic is. Now, the thing to not confuse with magic is natural. Magic cannot and will not do miracles or, well, some things can be classified as miracles that are natural, but my point is you can't, make something do that it can't do naturally. Subtle alterations, making yourself slightly faster or healthier or more confident or less afraid, this is magic. These are things that can be done. Now, spells, the whole purpose behind the ritual tools, the athame, the wand, the staff, these are usually focusing tools just to help you get into the mindset of the spell. Stones and herbs and incense and candles all vibrate at their own intensity based upon the material that they're made of and the color. You see, the way that light works is any color that you're looking at, the object is actually every color but that color, because you have light, which is, all the colors, so it's white light. It hits something, and then that object will absorb all the color and refract off the certain light waves that it's not absorbing. So when you're looking at something that's red, it's absorbing all colors but red. If you look at something that's black, it's absorbing all colors, which is why it heats up. So light, very, very, very powerful source of intensity. So when you use color, that's how the color affects the spell. When you use music or tones or vibrations, that's pretty much self-explanatory in my personal opinion. I mean, obviously, herbs burned at different things are going to set off different vibrations based upon what it's made out of and how it's smoking. So all of these things that people do, you don't have to. Only thing that you need for magic is yourself. Simple mental focus and concentration is the basics. Now, I could go over for hours and hours and hours of different stuff that you can use to enhance or assist or whatever the case may be. Research that on your own. Find what works for you, because there are so many methods. When you talk about witchcraft or wizardry or magery, druidry, any of the different forms of magic, they are simply styles. Find the style that suits you, or develop your own style. And that's the other thing to consider too. When magic, it didn't work for me. Once again, you are working with the flow of nature. The better you understand that and the better you learn to enhance it, the more effective your magic's going to be. You got to put forth the effort, and then you've got to do your best. Sometimes you're going to see results immediately, sometimes you're not. Usual things that a lot of people use magic for, which is a positive way of using it and which I would consider something that wouldn't be bad to do daily, is, protection, healing, and maybe prosperity. Hopefully you've learned something here. You're welcome to ask me questions. Contact me here on YouTube. And hopefully some of you that are lost out there that are craving magic will find it. Because we are beings that are not just physical. We exist on the mind, body, and soul. We are a trinity of energy. A lot of us feel like something's missing in our life, whether it be lack of religion or lack of magic. So if you are looking, you can find it. Just be you. Find yourself, see what works for you, and hopefully you can have a more magical life. So I will probably continue with other things in later videos, and once again, my name is BlazeLeeDragon. Blessings.